Most likely, you've come to this video because you're either debating whether to put a diffuser on the exhaust or get a new exhaust, or maybe you've already decided to put a diffuser on your car's exhaust. If that's the case, then you're in the right place. Welcome to the Noble Motorsport channel. I'm here to answer your questions. I'm also going to tell you some truths that many people avoid talking about. I'll give you my opinion about the exhaust diffuser. As someone who's had a turbo car since 2012, I've had a 2012 Jetta with 200 horsepower, a 2014 Gti with 211 horsepower, and now I have an A3 with 220 horsepower. So I've practically had all three TSI engines, which are the Jetta 200, the Jetta 211, and the Golf GTI, which is the same as this one. What I'm currently driving is a 220 horsepower Ea888 Generation 3 engine. What I'm going to tell you about the diffuser applies not only to these engines but also to other ones, so stay tuned to the video as I give a lot of information to clear up doubts about why I didn't put a diffuser on my car and why I wouldn't put a diffuser on any of my cars. I just don't like it. I'll make it clear and explain why I don't like them. You see, I know that many people who are looking for a diffuser either share their car with their spouse, and this is a common reality, or it's a child using their parents' car. And they want to modify their mother's or father's car because they don't have their own, so they lean towards the diffuser side. Right, with a diffuser you can have the 100% original roar or a 100% open roar. But I'll give my opinion on why I don't like it, because I wouldn't put it in. Well, 90% of the cars that put a diffuser in the exhaust sound like an old car. That's my first point, which I'll expand on throughout this video. My Audi A3, that it doesn't have a diffuser, has a beautiful, perfect, wonderful roar from an exhaust system specifically to generate sound and a beautiful roar. It's an exhaust where I can drive peacefully every day without a super loud roar inside the car. I can accelerate and have a sporty breakout. I can have all the cool faces there in my car. In my opinion, it's not a rule. I'm not an expert, but I will share my opinion. Now there will be people who will disagree with my opinion, and there will be people who will find it valid. I should clarify that so people don't come here and insult me. First thing, like I said, a roar from the diffuser is almost always the ugliest roar possible, almost 99.9% of the time. Many people still look for a diffuser because it's cheaper than getting a new exhaust. But wait a minute, it's not always cheaper depending on the What do you want to do? You can just remove the original muffler and put a sports muffler in place, right? The sound will improve. It will become more sport-like. One of the myths everyone keeps saying is, oh, power exhaust diffuser. That's not true, okay? In comparison, yes, for those looking for performance. And no, for those who are not seeking performance or escape, because if it's just to make noise, it doesn't make sense, okay? So let's get started. Yeah, if you're looking for an exhaust that provides performance, gives you horsepower, real power. If you get a car, okay, an original factory turbo car, an Audi A3 or a Volkswagen Golf GTI with its original exhaust, yes, it is more restrictive, right? Because of the standards, the laws that are such a pain, right, that we now have. So they are exhausts that are obviously more restrictive, which does cover some of the power. Knowing that the original exhaust covers some of the car's power, if we put a diffuser, what will happen? A diffuser can even provide a slight power gain. It can even give a couple of horsepower there. Great. But the true ideal for those who want to gain power, those who aim to gain real power, for those who like to accelerate, not for those who like of popping popcorn up and down, making noise up and down, for those who like to really speed up, it's 250, 280, 300 per hour, right? It's 220. Not for those who like to move at 5 per hour, 30 per hour, popping up and down. That's not like me. I don't want to accelerate or want to have a decent exhaust, so it could hurt the ears of those who are listening. It could hurt someone who is watching, but I'm sorry, but I think like this is my way. Some people like it, some people don't. You have to agree. There are those who don't agree, but if you add an exhaust, a complete exhaust from scratch, aiming for performance, I guarantee that you'll get a lot more horsepower from the exhaust made with mufflers, with the correct inch pipe, with pressure, everything right. You'll get much more power than with the diffuser. Big problems with the diffuser, the injection light coming on, right? This is one of the other points too. One of the other problems that happens a lot. Why? Because people just get the diffuser straight away. It doesn't give a pipe. What happens? Probe. Even if it is after the probe, the flow changes a lot when you open and close the diffuser, and because of this, the flow changes a lot, right? In this opening and closing of the diffuser. The car's control unit, right? The car's probe understands something is wrong, and because of that, it turns on the injection light. Okay, we even have videos previous to this one where we talked about this subject, and there were reports of people who commented right in the video, and they put the diffuser in and had a problem. They had the injection light on, among other problems that arose as well. Another reason why I wouldn't install a diffuser at all, for those who don't know, cars that have the original valve from the factory are vacuum valves, which open and close them, okay? Many times they are on the tips, and other times they are inside the muffler itself, right? So they still maintain the flow of gases passing through the muffler itself, okay? Or at most, it's on the tip where it opens and closes the flow, on the exhaust tip itself, okay? That's a big difference. What is the difference? If you have a vacuum valve, it doesn't cause any problems, or it's very rare for it to have a problem. If you put a valve, like 90% of these nowadays are electronic, the problem, it gets so hot because the valve is close to the exhaust that the electronic valve starts to fail, it starts to get stuck, it starts to make noise. The engine heats up so much that it burns, the wires melt, causing several problems. That's exactly why a valve from a Porsche, from a BMW, from an Audi RS uses vacuum. The electric motor which provides this vacuum isn't located near the exhaust, it's far away from the exhaust. It is designed this way to avoid absorbing the heat that's present. This is done to help absorb any heat from the exhaust, which allows the valve to have a longer lifespan and last longer. A Porsche comes from the factory with a vacuum system, not an electric system. One important point to note is the problem with installing electric valves. The big issue is that they tend to fail and cause issues constantly. When it stops working, the valve gets stuck open or closed, causing electrical issues in the car. So it's not worth it, okay? A lot of people think that an original exhaust valve from a Porsche or Audi that comes from the factory is the same as the electric valves people sell. It's not the same, it has nothing to do with it, it's not of the same quality, operation, or even principle. Let's discuss the type of use, okay, as many have asked me. Many think they can open and close the valve whenever they want, constantly adjusting the flow. This is what causes problems. People say that with a Porsche or an Audi RS or S3, which come with original factory settings, the valves can open and close automatically or via an internal button in the car, on the dashboard, allowing you to control it exactly as you please. But it doesn't exactly work that way. How does it work in a factory original car equipped with a valve? It works like this. When the car exceeds 3,000 revolutions per minute, for example in an Audi S3, the valve opens automatically as per the car's original mapping. The car understands that it needs more airflow, or in this case exhaust gases, so it opens the valve automatically. The car automatically adjusts the map alone because it understands that opening the valve will allow for greater flow. As a result, the exhaust probe will read more, because there will be a larger flow. For this reason, no engine check light comes on for the original factory settings. So then you might ask me, but if I install a full exhaust system like yours, why wouldn't the engine check light come on? For a single reason, because we don't open and close the valve 60,000 times during the day, afternoon, or night. My exhaust flow is always the same, it doesn't change, and so my car doesn't show an engine light. The exhaust system was designed prioritizing flow, generating a beautiful roar, and it always stays consistent. There's no valve to keep on opening and closing, and it avoids the chaos of the valve opening and closing all the time. The car understands that the flow is constant and always the same. On every revolution, it knows the flow will increase, but it will not encounter a different parameter, always having a base parameter, okay? The problem with a valve is that if you open and close it 60 times a day at different speeds, at different times, it's different from an original factory valve, as it is already preset within the module itself. So every time it opens, the module itself already understands that that valve is open. You already understand that it is going to change the exhaust flow, and it alters the engine map. Okay, guys. So these are points that many people don't discuss. Okay, about the men's part, they're 10 times more handsome, and now I'm going to put some videos up, right? I'm going to show my car with a full exhaust. I'm going to put a photo here for you with a full stainless steel exhaust, remembering that you don't have to make a full stainless steel exhaust. If you want, you can create a stainless steel escape force, but you can also remove a silencer from your car, or you can remove a silencer and put a sports silencer in its place, or you can create a complete exhaust. Just like what I did on mine, okay? So, there are some options there that are cheaper, and you don't even need to make them out of stainless steel. If you want to spend less, you can make it from other materials, okay? And silencers, there are different prices on the market, different models, different sizes that may be able to serve you and deliver the same quality, right? Guys, I'm going to accelerate here so you can hear what my car sounds like with all the windows closed, the roof closed. This is a handsome man. He has the booms. I don't know if you'll be able to hear them, but he has the booms. The snoring is much more beautiful, much more full-bodied. It's the thick drone of a car with an engine that sounds like it has a bigger engine than a 4-cylinder. So this is a perfect exhaust, okay? Because this is an exhaust made by RF, right? I'm not even recommending or advertising them. Okay, their service is a 10. I really liked it, just like there are many other 10 rated workshops on the market, but I don't like diffusers. I can't like them. In rare cases, cars that I've seen with a diffuser where the drone would be really beautiful. Okay, very rare cases. So guys, do you want to make a good exhaust? Do you want to make a beautiful exhaust? Do you want to make an exhaust where even the popcorn that many people like makes a nice noise? Make a decent exhaust? Don't save money? Because if you're going to be driving up and down, accelerating, making crazy loud popcorn with the drone of an old car. Not that the Uno is rubbish. The Uno is good. But I'm saying with the drone of an old car, with the ugly shrill drone, with that drone that, excuse me. But it's ridiculous. Sometimes I go straight to Europe, I see 600,000 cars with different engines. A lot I see Go, I see Up, I see Polo, I see Quid, I see a lot of cars. 90% of what I see passing by is car noise. Old is an ugly snore, it's ugly popcorn. It's loud snore that's so loud that it's ugly, you know? Which is beautiful. Sometimes a rumble is more beautiful if the volume is lower, but it is a rumble that sounds like it comes from a bigger engine. Sounds like it comes from another car or a car, you know, that has a nice drone than having a loud snore, okay? I think that ugly loud snoring draws people's attention, as do most of my friends. When we are at the Europa station, we are there. We see any car, regardless, could be an expensive car, a cheap car that has a diffuser with the popcorn that is absurdly loud, absurdly ugly, with everything messed up, accelerating, spinning, or spouting popcorn. What happens is everyone looks and says, wow, that's terrible, that snoring's ridiculous, that snoring's ugly. The guy can't even stand out because it's either a competition for who has the loudest popcorn sound or who has the ugliest snore, sorry to say, in my opinion. So if someone really wants to stand out, they do it differently from the others. Because what I see most today is a 1.0, 1.4, 1.8, 2.0 car with a diffuser that snores a ridiculous sound and makes a lot of noise. Everyone looks and says how rubbish, how ridiculous, how ugly. Okay, that's my opinion. Whether you like it or not, you don't have to agree. When a car passes by with a really well-designed exhaust, with a cool exhaust, with a fuller rumble, with a thicker rumble, which you see is a truly beautiful rumble, that it even gives pleasure to hear that rumble from that car. When a Porsche that you hear, it's a loud rumble, but it's a full-bodied rumble. You can tell that the snoring of a Porsche, if you put a diffuser on a Porsche, it must sound terrible to give you an idea. Right? Because it has been proven that a well-made and sized exhaust gives more power than a diffuser by far. That's why racing cars don't use diffusers, they use sized exhaust. It doesn't mean that the freer the exhaust is, it will give more horsepower. That's not true. Otherwise, if that were the case, the exhaust would be 10 centimeters long, would come out of the engine block or the turbine and go straight into the atmosphere. That's not true. The exhaust has to have a pressure, a counter pressure. It has to have several things, right? It has to have a length. It has to have dampers, right? Take an example. Take the exhaust from the security weapon, put the diffuser on, see if by any chance you will be able to reach the rumble of a security weapon's exhaust. You won't. It will be a ridiculous rumble. It will never come close to the rumble of a security weapon from a car's rumble, or from an exhaust designed for flow, for beautiful snoring. Why? Because a diffuser is just a pipe that has a valve that opens and closes. Does it give results? I don't think so. Because if it worked, Porsche would use, Ferrari would use, Lamborghini would use, and put a factory diffuser on the exhaust so that the exhaust would stay straight. Why don't they do that? Because the snoring sound is ugly. Why doesn't Krapovic sell a Krapovic brand diffuser that would be like what the guys sell here? Because it doesn't look pretty. Because Krapovic knows it won't look good. Why doesn't Secret Weapons sell an exhaust diffuser? Because she knows the snoring will be ridiculous. Why does a Maramos brand that makes exhausts, why don't the most renowned exhaust brands on earth have their own brand diffuser? Precisely because they know that it's rubbish. They know that they won't give a better flow. They won't give the best result in power, and will not give the best result in terms of sound. Because whoever installs the exhaust is looking for two things, the sound issue and the power issues. So, I hope I have cleared your doubts. I hope I have helped you. Sorry if I spoke some truths here, but truths have to be told. It doesn't please everyone. I know it won't please. I know there will be people who will insult me. I know there will be people who will complain. I know there will also be people who will want to unsubscribe from the channel, and frankly, it doesn't make any difference because I think it's nastier to drive along Avenida Europa with a ridiculous noise, as ugly as a demon, annoying everyone. And on top of annoying everyone, it's embarrassing yourself because it's ugly, right? Why not make a real exhaust instead? People want to save a lot of money and often try to take shortcuts. So how much would a complete exhaust cost? How long does it take to install it? How much does it cost to replace it with a good muffler, a Barenval? For an RF, for a quality muffler, oh, it costs $600 compared to a muffler, plus the labor. It all ends up costing me, and some are broken. No, I'll put the diffuser on. It's easier. People usually go for the easier side, the quicker side, but that's obvious. We already know that sometimes the easier side, the more practical side that's cheaper, doesn't yield the best result. But that's just my opinion on why I wouldn't opt for it. And I assure you, there will be a lot of comments. From many people. If you stayed here till the end, there will be a lot of people commenting. I already put in a diffuser, I didn't like it, it made an ugly noise. There will be people who will say, I already put in a diffuser, the injection light came on in my car. There will be people who will say, I put in a diffuser, there were issues. It stopped working a few days later. So if you want to make an exhaust, make a cool exhaust, make a proper exhaust. Choose a quality muffler, choose a muffler, pick some nice tips. Choose a Barenval, it has some beautiful tips. Put a bar in which has a cool sound with the beautiful polished tips in 304 stainless steel at the back of your car. It will grab even more attention than a diffuser, and it will sound far prettier. So guys, that's my tip for you on why I wouldn't fit a diffuser on any of my cars, alright? In my opinion, it's not worth it. I hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a like. If you didn't, don't give it a like, okay? And of course, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe below. For more videos, more information, to learn more about the Audi Volkswagen line, we've been creating content here since 2011. The channel is over 12 years in the market talking about Audi Volkswagen to you. And obviously, if there's something you want to know or learn about the Audi Volkswagen line, send it to us and we'll be able to help you, okay guys?